Let me be blunt. You've been lied to. They told you youth is everything, that after 40, your attractiveness fades. But that's not how women see it, because what turns them on isn't youth. It's power, stillness, depth. It's the man who doesn't need to prove anything. The man who commands attention, not with words, but with presence. And if you've noticed women getting unusually comfortable around you, laughing more, lingering, remembering the smallest things, that's not politeness, that's attraction. In its most dangerous, quiet form. I'm about to show you 8 signs she sees you as the man younger guys secretly envy. Before I walk you through all 8 signs, do me a quick favor. If this message already hits something deep, like or subscribe, whichever feels right. And tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? I want to see how far this message is reaching. Now let's get back to the story. Because what you're about to hear might just change the way you see yourself and the way women already see you. Sign number 1. Younger women feel safe around you. And I'm not talking about physical safety. I'm talking about emotional safety. That unspoken comfort she feels when you walk into a room, when she starts opening up without knowing why, when her guard drops, not because she decided to trust you, but because her body already did. You've probably noticed it. The barista who lingers a little longer, the woman at the gym who asks for help, even when she knows what she's doing. The colleague who smiles more when you speak, laughs even when your jokes barely land. They're not doing it out of politeness. They're doing it because your energy feels safe. See, women, especially younger women, are constantly scanning for energy, not charm, not flash, but presence. They've dealt with enough men who are impulsive, validation hungry, emotionally erratic. So when they meet someone calm, grounded, still, it hits different. You don't interrupt. You don't try to impress. You listen, you hold space, and that is magnetic. Why? Because in a world full of noise, stillness feels like leadership. When you speak with intention. When you move with purpose. And that calm energy, that unshakable frame, is what feminine energy subconsciously craves. It's not that she wants an older man. She wants to feel safe. She wants to feel seen without having to perform. And when she's around you, she doesn't feel judged. She feels grounded. That's the kind of comfort that invites closeness. That makes her lean in. Not just physically, but emotionally. And here's the kicker. She may not even realize she's doing it. So if you find that younger women tend to talk to you more, ask for your input. Linger in conversations longer than necessary. Don't write it off. They're drawn to something in you, something men their age haven't developed yet. Not status, not looks, but masculine emotional gravity. And in the world of attraction, that's one of the rarest and most irresistible forces you can carry. Sign number 2. You get compliments on your grooming. And no, it's not random. When a woman says, "I like your haircut," or "You always smell good," she's not just being polite. She's testing for attention to detail. She's scanning for something deeper than style. Self-respect. See, when a man dresses with intention, it signals something primal. It tells the world, and women especially, that he pays attention to himself, to how he shows up, to the energy he brings into a space. You don't need to wear expensive suits or follow the latest trends. But when your clothes are clean, well-fitted, and chosen with care, when your beard is trimmed, your shoes polished, your scent subtle but present, you're sending out a silent signal. I give a damn about myself. And here's why that matters. Because the way you treat yourself is a preview of how you'll treat her. Women don't just notice grooming, they interpret it. To them, a man who respects his appearance likely respects his space, his commitments, his partner, and that's rare. Most men either overdo it, trying too hard to impress, or they let themselves go, thinking effort doesn't matter anymore. But you walk the line. You know who you are. You're not peacocking, you're presenting. And that presentation becomes your presence. It doesn't shout. It suggests. It doesn't ask for validation. It radiates value. Ever noticed how a woman leans in slightly when complimenting your cologne? How she playfully touches your arm while mentioning your shirt? That's not just admiration. That's entry-level intimacy. She's letting you know she noticed. And more importantly, that she wants you to know she noticed. It's her way of saying, you stand out, not because you're loud, but because you're intentional. So if you've ever brushed off those compliments as meaningless, stop. They're signals. They're subtle nods of approval. And they're signs that women see you as more than just put together. They see you as a man who knows how to show up. And in the mind of a woman, that grooming isn't just about hygiene. It's foreplay. Sign number 3. Women hold your gaze longer than necessary. It's subtle, easy to miss if you're not paying attention, but make no mistake, when her eyes lock with yours and she doesn't look away, that's not random, that's a message. In the world of female body language, eye contact is the first line of attraction. She won't always smile, she won't always speak, but her eyes, they'll give her away. Every single time. Picture this, you're at a cafe, a bookstore, maybe the gym. You glance up, catch her looking at you, but instead of turning away instantly, she holds it. Just for a second too long. That moment, that hesitation, is primal. Because here's what most men don't realize. Women flirt with subtlety, with stillness, with timing. And when she lingers in your gaze, she's not just looking at you, she's feeling you. It's her way of asking a silent question. Do you see me seeing you? And if you do, and you hold that gaze with calm, grounded ease, you've just passed the first layer of the test. Because that confidence, that ability to hold presence without flinching, that's what separates you from the boys. You're not flustered. You're not overeager. You're centered. And women are biologically wired to respond to that stillness. Now, let's get even deeper. Why does this matter? Because women live in a world full of attention, but starving for presence. Everyone's looking, but no one's seeing. So when you give her calm, steady eye contact, not hungry, not creepy, just aware, you become magnetic. That lingering look? It's not just attraction, it's curiosity. It's her subconscious saying, there's something about you I can't name, but I want more of it. And when she holds eye contact, then looks down with a soft smile, when she glances back a second time after walking past, when she keeps looking, just to see if you're still there, that's her way of circling back. She won't always say it, but her gaze already did. So next time it happens, don't dismiss it. Don't assume it's nothing. Look back, hold steady, smile if it feels right. Because that's not a glance, that's the beginning of a green light. And most men miss it, simply because they're too distracted to see that they're already being seen. Sign number 4. Women come to you for advice, not just directions, not just help with moving a box or fixing a tech problem. I mean real advice, life decisions, career moves, emotional struggles. And if it keeps happening, there's a reason. Because when a woman turns to you for guidance, she's not just asking questions. She's revealing something deeper. She trusts your frame. She sees you as emotionally solid, someone who listens first, speaks later, someone who doesn't panic, doesn't overreact, just holds. That kind of man? Rare. And wildly attractive. You see, most men respond to female vulnerability with either logic or lust. They try to fix her, or they try to sleep with her. But you hold the middle. You offer perspective without pushing. You give space without disappearing. And that balance is powerful. It says, I've seen life. I've felt pain. I don't need to dominate your chaos because I've already survived mine. When a woman senses that, she leans in, not just because she wants your input, but because she wants your energy. Your steadiness becomes a safe place. And safe is sexy, especially to a woman who's tired of being the strong one. She may test it at first. Can I ask you something personal? What would you do in my situation? And when she sees you're not rattled, not judgmental, when you give her clarity without control, she starts to relax. And from that relaxation, attraction grows. Why? Because attraction isn't always about spark. Sometimes it's about safety. And when a woman can be soft around you, when she doesn't have to explain every emotion because you just get it, that's when she begins to feel you. You become the man who doesn't just understand her words, you understand her silences. And here's what most men never grasp. When a woman seeks your advice, it's rarely just about the topic. It's about the connection. It's about how she feels in your presence. And if she keeps coming back to you, not just for answers, but for perspective, for calm, for peace, she's already attached. So pay attention. Next time she says, "What do you think?" It's not just a question. It's a clue, a sign that you've become the emotional anchor she didn't know she was craving. And that kind of connection, that's the beginning of something deeper than flirtation. That's the foundation of respect, and respect is where real desire begins. Sign number 5. You don't chase, but you still get noticed. And that, my friend, is the mark of dangerous attractiveness. You walk into a room, you're not the loudest voice. You're not cracking jokes just to be heard. You're not trying to charm anyone. But somehow, people notice. Women glance. Men adjust. And the energy shifts without you lifting a finger. Why? Because stillness is power. In a world addicted to attention, the man who doesn't seek it becomes magnetic. He's the one they wonder about. The one who doesn't try to prove anything and ends up proving everything. See, women are naturally drawn to mystery. Not confusion, not games, but quiet self-possession. The man who doesn't chase her because he's already chosen himself. You don't need to dominate a room. You occupy it with posture, with ease, with energy that says, "I'm good, I'm whole. I'm not looking for completion. I am the completion." And that energy? It's rare, because most men either chase too hard, signaling desperation, or detach too far, signaling indifference. You, on the other hand, embody relaxed command. You're approachable, but not needy. Available, but not chasing. That balance drives women crazy, in the best way. Because here's the psychological truth most men miss. When a man doesn't chase, it forces a woman to feel, to tune into her own curiosity, to ask herself, why do I keep thinking about him? Why do I want to be around him more? And suddenly, she's the one leaning in. Not because you pushed, but because you pulled back with intention. It's the way you move with calm confidence. The way you make space without disappearing. The way you say little, but say it with weight. That creates a gravitational pull, one she can't quite explain, but can't seem to resist. So if you've noticed women initiating more, texting first, asking when you're free, if you find yourself being remembered, even when you weren't trying to stand out, that's not luck, that's presence. You're not chasing, you're drawing in, and that shift from pursuit to presence is what turns you from just another man into the man she remembers. Sign number 6. Subtle signs of your fitness still show. You might not have a six-pack. You might not be running marathons or deadlifting twice your weight. But the way you carry yourself, it speaks volumes. The truth is, physical attraction in mature men doesn't come from extreme athleticism. It comes from vitality, from the way your body moves, from the way your posture holds, straight, relaxed, confident, from the ease with which you get out of a chair, bend, stretch, or walk into a room with natural rhythm. And women notice. They're not looking for a sculpted Instagram physique. They're tuned into something more primal. Does this man look like he takes care of himself? Does he have energy? Or does he look like life has drained him? Your body, even without trying, tells a story, not of perfection, but of effort. And effort is attractive. You take care of what you eat. You move. You rest when needed. You stay functional. And that functionality? That's power. Because when a woman sees you move with ease, with coordination, with control, she doesn't just see strength, she sees readiness. She sees a man who won't break under pressure, physically or emotionally. That quiet discipline shows in your shoulders, in your stride, in how you enter a space, grounded, alert, present. Even your skin, the glow of circulation, the tone in your arms, the way you stretch your neck mid-conversation, it signals health, life force, sexual energy. And here's what most older men don't realize. Women are hypersensitive to energy. They pick up on it before they register it consciously. So when they say, "You look strong," or "You seem really active," it's not small talk, it's code. It means, I see your discipline. I feel your presence. And yes, I'm paying attention. You may think you're just staying in decent shape, but to her, it's a signal that you still show up, and for your body, your life, and by extension, possibly for her. Because a man who moves well, even without showing off, is a man who's telling the world, I've still got it, I'm still here. And that energy, quiet, real, embodied, is deeply attractive. Sign number 7, she laughs even when it's not funny. And no, it's not because you're secretly a stand-up comedian. It's because she's emotionally tuned into you. You tell a joke, a simple one, maybe even a little corny. You expect a polite smile, maybe a chuckle at best. But she laughs, genuinely. Eyes squint, shoulders shake. She covers her mouth, leans toward you, maybe even touches your arm. That's not about the joke, that's about the connection. Because when a woman laughs easily around you, it's not always about humor. It's about comfort. It's about resonance. And more than anything, it's about how you make her feel in that moment. Here's what most men miss. Laughter is a stress release, a social glue, a subconscious signal that says, I feel safe here, I feel seen, I can soften. And you're not performing. You're not fishing for approval. You're just being yourself, relaxed, warm, open. That's what makes it work. Because when a man is grounded enough to laugh at himself, to tell a dry joke without caring if it lands, that shows emotional security. And emotional security is catnip to women who are tired of male egos and fragile posturing. She's not laughing because the joke is brilliant. She's laughing because you're not trying too hard, because you create a space where she doesn't have to be guarded. She can let go. And that laughter, it's her body saying yes before her mind even catches up. So next time she giggles at your dad-level pun, don't brush it off. Watch her. Does she lean in? Does her tone shift to something softer, more playful? Does her body relax? That's not a social courtesy. That's chemistry. Even science backs this up. Studies show women rate men with a good sense of humor as more intelligent, more trustworthy, and more desirable. But here's the nuance. It's not about being funny. It's about being light, being at ease with yourself. And that lightness becomes infectious. It makes her want to stay, not because you dazzled her, but because you disarmed her. You made her forget to guard herself. You gave her a moment to just feel joy. And that moment, it lingers. So when she laughs, even at the jokes you thought were throwaways, understand this. She's not just laughing at the words. She's laughing because of the way you make her feel. And that's a far deeper form of attraction than punchlines could ever deliver. Sign number 8, she flirts without words. And this one's easy to miss, unless you know exactly what to watch for, because by the time a woman says she's interested, she's already shown it a dozen different ways. The problem? Most men are looking for loud signals, but the most powerful signs of female attraction are silent and subtle. She twirls her hair slowly, not nervously, but rhythmically. She adjusts her blouse, tucks it tighter when you're nearby, not for function, but to draw the eye. She brushes something off your sleeve that wasn't even there. These aren't coincidences, they're cues. She doesn't walk up and say, "I like you." Instead, she mirrors your body language. You lean back, so does she. You cross your arms, she uncrosses hers, opening up instead. That's mirroring, a subconscious desire to match energy and create unspoken intimacy. Then there's proximity. She chooses the seat near you, not the one across the room. She stands just a little too close in conversation. You feel her energy before you hear her voice. And here's the key. She's watching to see if you notice, because female flirting, real, primal, feminine flirting, is all about testing awareness. Do you see me? Do you pick up on the signals I'm not saying out loud? If you do, and you respond with presence, not pressure, that's when the real attraction begins. Maybe she touches your arm lightly while laughing. Maybe her hand rests on the table, inching closer to yours. Maybe she gives a small smile right after complimenting you, then looks away. That's not random. That's invitation. And if you're not aware, you'll miss it. You'll think it was polite. You'll tell yourself, she's just friendly. But deep down, something felt different. Because it was different. That tension you felt, that heat in the silence between words, that was her checking if you're emotionally tuned in. Because women don't want a man who just hears. They want a man who feels, who can read the room, read her. And if you can recognize these subtle gestures, not react, but respond with calm, grounded energy, you become the man who just gets it. And that man? He's rare. He's irresistible because he's not chasing. He's noticing. And when a woman feels noticed, not for her body, but for her energy, that's when attraction turns electric. So the next time a woman's presence lingers longer than her words, when her body leans in, even if her voice doesn't, pay attention, because she's already flirting. She's just waiting to see if you're man enough to see it. Let's bring it all together. You've just heard 8 powerful signs, and chances are some of them felt familiar, not because you've been chasing attention, but because, without realizing it, you've already become the man women notice. And here's the truth nobody tells you. Attraction in a man doesn't fade with age. It matures. It deepens. It evolves into something more magnetic than youth could ever offer. Because being attractive as an older man has nothing to do with how you look in the mirror, and everything to do with how you move through the world. Your calm, your presence, your ability to stay grounded when everyone else is reacting. That's the new currency of attraction. And most men never figure that out. You've earned this energy. You've built it through experience, failure, growth, and quiet victories that no one saw. And now, it shows. In your eyes, in your voice, in the way women lean in just a little closer, not even knowing why. So if you've ever doubted your appeal, if you've ever looked around and wondered if your best years were behind you, let me be clear, they're not. They're right now. Because when you embody presence, stillness, and emotional depth, you become unforgettable. Not flashy, not loud, but felt deeply. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these signs have you noticed in your life? Which one surprised you the most? And are there other subtle cues you've picked up from women that I didn't cover? Let's open that conversation. Because the more we learn to see these signals, the more we reclaim the quiet power that comes with mature masculinity. And if this message hit home, if it reminded you of who you are and what you bring, then like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. This journey isn't about going back. It's about owning the man you've become and stepping fully into the power you've always had. I'll see you in the next one.